For CPR, increases the chances of survival by about 8 times. Regular CPR has a chance of survival about 1 to 2%. With just CPR, bringing an AED increases it to about 8%, which is about 8 times higher. So bringing an AED is definitely useful, especially for victims of cardiac arrest. You've got 2 choices of pads typically, sometimes 3 will have pediatric pads. Here I have child pads and I have adult pads. With child pads, you can only use on a child. You can't use them on an adult. There's not enough power. When using a child pad, one pad goes on the front of the victim. So of course I would turn it on and listen to the prompts. It would tell me to put the AED pads. One-time use only pads, so one goes on the center of the chest. So this is for a child. Sorry, I'm not sticky anymore. AEDs, mannequins don't really have anything to stick on the back. But let's say I'll put the other one back here. So one front and one back on the chest. This is the AED pad placement for a child. A child is anything before puberty or signs of puberty. You consider that a child and above the age of 1. Under the age of 1, there's pediatric pads, which also have the same placement, but most AEDs nowadays don't yet have pediatric pads, because they're still brand new to the AED system. You'll only find them in hospitals and advanced medical care units. The AEDs pads for an adult, they go one up and one side. You can use these on a child just like this also, but again, you can't use the child pads for an adult. So the adult pads are kind of universal, while the child pads are only specific for children. So have a look at your AEDs in your workplace or where you volunteer to make sure you're familiar with the unit. Every unit should have an on button and every unit should have a shock button. They're only really allowed to have 2 buttons, and those are the 2. They should have the pads either placed in the back or on the front. Just be familiar with it. Somebody should be at your workplace who has the training on how to show you how to use theirs and should be checking up on it once in a while to make sure the battery and all the equipment is still there. Take a first aid or CPR course with the Red Cross. You get more than that information at their courses.